Hi, I'm Kyle,
And I'm Josh.
and we're
Fear the Queer,
a podcast that talks about everything on our gay agendas, from politics and media.
to race and relationships. So sit back, relax, as we spill the tea.
Fear the
Queer.
That was beautiful.
That was good.
I know. Thanks.
Good evening, listeners, and thank you for tuning in to the 7th and final episode of the first season of Fear the Queer.
On tonight's episode, we will be revealing our top 10s of different categories of 2000 gay teen.
Tens across the board.
And the categories will be favorite movie, favorite music,
Okay.
queer media moments,
Okay.
political/social movements, and our husband list for 2018.
Yes.
But before we begin, Josh, what are we drinking tonight?
Well, to finish 2018, we decided to pop open a bottle of champagne.
Oh! Every time I hear that sound, I get turned on.
Cheers, queers.
Cheers, queers. Oh. I love the bubbles. It makes me feel expensive. So, the first category that we will be doing is favorite movie. So, before we get too into our top 10, Josh and I have both separately chosen 5 different items for each category. And if we overlap, like let's say that we chose the same movie for one of the items, we have to drink to it. And we have alternates, because who doesn't love an alternate queen?
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
So, do you want to begin?
Sure. So for number 5 favorite movie of the year
Okay.
is actually The Favorite.
The favorite is also on my list.
Really?
So we'll drink to that.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. So mine's at number 5. Where's yours at?
Number 3.
Okay. So
Number 3.
Why do you like The Favorite so much?
Okay, here's what I love about The Favorite. I love Yorgos, whatever his last name is. When it comes to making films, he is so good at making twisted fairy tales. And it was such a surprise because, not necessarily a spoiler alert, but you don't get it from the trailer. It's a very lesbian film.
Yes. It's a very queer-friendly film.
Very queer-friendly
And
film.
weirdly enough, I would say it's also his most commercial film yet.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, it's the easiest one to swallow out of everything that he's done. Yes, it's still a very dark, twisted, fucked up movie.
It's super dark and twisted.
Yeah.
But all the performances are really great.
Yeah. Olivia Colman stars as the Queen of England, and
Who has gout.
I
relate.
And Rachel Weisz is her right-hand man.
Lady Sarah.
Yes, Lady Sarah. Emma Watson. Emma Stone comes in, and she's cousin Abigail. She just wants a job there. She's so happy to be here. But then you realize that there's actually something hidden behind Abigail's very sweet demeanor.
And what ends up happening is a huge power dynamic / love triangle that is really fun to watch, great lines, and an ending that leaves people kind of mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Which is kind of everything that he's known for. So it's what I like about him.
So I'm glad. Okay, so the favorite's on both of ours.
Yeah.
Should I go with my number 5?
Yeah.
So my number 5 film of the year is Love, Simon.
Aw. That was actually my alternate.
It wasn't on your alternate?
Yeah.
Okay, so we won't drink to that because I'm already drinking a lot.
Okay.
So, why do I love Simon?
Duh.
I know. Okay, but here's the thing. When
the first Hollywood feature film featured a teen gay film.
Right, and I just kept thinking, like, I wasn't going to like it. And yes, there are elements that I think are kind of, like, cheesy. Like, he is a upper class, like, he's...
Yeah.
I mean, they try to make him seem middle class, but that house is banging.
Right.
And, his parents are still married, and he's white, and...
It's definitely, like, a watered-down version of Call Me By Your Name, for sure.
Right, minus, like, the weird older gentleman pursuing the younger.
Right.
But it's, like, it's a cute movie. It's great. If you like The Breakfast Club, if you like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's that, except gay.
Right. Like, you know how I said that The Danish Girl was kind of like transgender rights 101 for white people?
This is, like, gay coming out for white people 101.
101.
Yes,
exactly.
I agree.
It's a great vanilla wafer of gay teen coming out stories.
And it's so sweet.
And it is sweet. And
it's so sweet.
I think it's a great starting film.
Yeah, and you know, it's a happy ending.
And there are great moments in that film, like Jennifer Garner's monologue.
That's a great moment. That made me cry.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think I was going to cry watching it, but I definitely cried.
No, it's definitely recommended, especially for anybody who may not be familiar with the LGBTQ community.
Or just like the idea of coming out. I think if I would have seen that when I was 17, I would have felt so much more...
I probably would have came out sooner.
I would have come out sooner.
Susan?
I would have come out, Susan. Hello, Susan.
Hello, Susan.
Who's Susan? She's the woman that we come out to. Like, y'all gays know what we're talking about. Like, you're like, hey, Susan, I gotta call my Susan. Yeah. It's not good Judy, it's good Susan.
Good Susan. Good Susan 2018.
I love that. Okay, so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is actually a documentary called Minding the Gap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was directed by a young amateur director named Bing Liu. And he had recorded him and his friends over a time frame of like 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
And they came together as friends who just loved to skateboard. But then you actually got their own individual backstories. And Bing talked about how his father was abusive when he was younger. And then he finds out that his friend might actually be abusing his girlfriend. And it's just this great intertwining of 3 middle American guys who are from Illinois, actually.
Okay.
It's just a stunningly simplistic portrait of 3 individuals that you would not see on the screen normally 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is a young black man, a young Asian man, and a white man from lower background. I will say that, yeah.
Okay.
Lower income background.
No, that's great because I haven't seen that yet, so that's on my list now.
Yeah, it's on Hulu actually. So if anyone who has Hulu, watch it for free. It's a very, like I said, it's a very beautiful portrait of people that you normally don't get to see. So representation.
Lovely.
Yeah,
we're all about that here at Fair and Queer.
Exactly.
All right, so my number 4 is Crazy Rich Asians. Is that on your list?
That's my number 2.
Okay, well, let's
Cheers!
drink. Cheers!
All right.
Here we go, drinking more. Oh, God. The bubbles tickle my throat. So, obviously, you know, like, I feel like our listeners know that we love Crazy Rich Asians.
For obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons. I don't think that there is any bad thing in Crazy Rich Asians. It displays a community that does not get displayed in mainstream media ever. It's a classic Hollywood storyline. Yes.
That is featured with a modern day Asian cast. And it's just so perfect.
And also a lot of handsome men with their shirts off.
Yeah. A lot of hot Asian guys.
Yeah, I'm into it. Like, oh my... What is his name? I don't know his real name, but
Henry Golding?
Yo. Hello.
The charming British
Malaysian man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Crazy Rich Asians. I don't even really think we need to argue.
We don't.
No. I mean, people
arguing. You know.
If everyone knows, it's actually finally out on DVD, Redbox. Whatever you do, please go see it.
Go see it. It's wonderful.
And it's not even necessarily that the plot of the film is actually, like, super phenomenal. It's just more of what it represents.
Right. Like, you'll be crying anyways because it's just so beautiful. So... That's my number 4. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the Melissa McCarthy vehicle, Can You Ever Forgive Me?
That's also on my list, but it's not number 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually my number 1.
Oh, really?
It is.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say, why?
I loved it.
I loved it too, hence it being my number 1. So Can You Ever Forgive Me stars Melissa McCarthy in a very serious role as the writer Lee Israel, who is just not getting any good work as a writer. She's a biography writer, and no one wants to read her stuff. So what ends up happening is she begins to
forge notes from former authors.
Like Dorothy Parker, Noel Coward, and she kind of gets
caught into like celebrities too, like Tallulah Bankhead, Katharine Hepburn.
Right. And so she gets caught up in it. Her best friend is kind of this like vagabond, and that's played by Richard E. Grant. And here's why it was my number 1 and your number 3. I assume that people should go see it.
Right.
is it's a movie with two main characters that are gay, but the movie isn't about being gay at all.
No. And it's just part of their identity and part of their very complex, sometimes rancid personalities.
Right, and I mean, I appreciated that. Plus, it takes place in
because you don't actually get to see gay people being, like...
shitty.
But not, like, shitty
or,
in
like,
the sense of, like, a villain, but complex shitty.
right. And there's, like, a moment when, like, they go over to Melissa McCarthy's house, like, Lee Israel's house, and she's, like, a total hoarder, and it's just, like, messy and sad, and... I'm like, you don't get to see that.
No.
You only get to see, like, the polished, like,
you don't get
yes, queen!
Right.
So it's nice to see that. Plus, again, early 90s New York. It's beautiful. It's sad.
And it is based off
dirty.
Of actual author Lee Israel's exploits during the early 90s.
Right.
And unfortunately, she passed away in 2014. So this film was dedicated to her memory. But I think overall, it's just, like, such a fabulous... it's a fabulous, great portrayal of... things we don't really get to see that often.
Right, I think, and everyone who has seen this movie and I've talked to has just said it's just an enjoyable film.
Yeah.
And it just happens that she's a lesbian and her best friend, Richard E. Grant, is gay.
Yeah. It's just so by happenstance.
It just happenstance.
Right.
Can I say my favorite line from the movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so my favorite line from the movie is they're sitting there and they're talking about some woman that they had in common as a friend. And he says, I don't remember. Did she die? Or maybe she moved to the suburbs. And Melissa McCarthy's like, what's the difference? And I'm just like, oh god, that's me.
That's good.
That's like me.
It's really sharp writing.
It's very sharp writing. So everyone go see Can You Ever Forgive Me?
Yes.
Alright, so we already did my number 3, which was the favorite. What's your number 3?
That was Can You Ever Forgive Me? So, and my number 2 is actually Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, which we already did also.
Yeah.
So my number 2 is Widows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
We saw it together. I very much enjoyed it. So, Widows, if you don't know, is
Steve McQueen film.
Steve McQueen film who did 12 Years a Slave and Shame. And it stars Viola Davis as a widow of kind of like a mafia, a mobster.
Basically.
You know, guy who dies. So, and multiple men with his group die. And she gathers all the other widows and they try to fulfill the final heist. I loved it. It's great acting. It's well written. It takes place in Chicago. The cast is super fucking diverse. And
it's a great popcorn thriller with substance.
Yes. Like, it talks about politics. It talks about race, misogyny, society, but it doesn't.
And it weirdly also brings up a lot of problems in Chicago itself.
Right, because it takes place in Chicago,
the South Side specifically.
Yeah. So I very much enjoyed it. I think everyone should go see it. Was that on your list?
No, but that was actually a very good alternate. We were going to go see it at the Evanston Theater. And I chose that theater specifically, one, because it's $5 Tuesdays, so that's super cheap. Two, we had a very receptive audience.
Yes.
I think that always helps when you want to see something that's really thrilling, because you have all these screens.
The entire audience, at one point, you hear someone be like, oh no, girl.
Right.
Because
don't you do it.
Don't you do it, girl.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just go see it.
It's a very fun movie.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a little violent, so if you're not, like, into violence, maybe don't go see it. But it's a fun heist movie with substance. And Viola Davis gives a stellar performance, as does everyone else in the film.
Right. Her tears just, like, flew through the screen. And just
I want her to cry and snot on me.
It's one of your life goals.
It's one of my life goals.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, too, because, like I said, it's very diverse. And it looks like the world that we live in.
Yeah.
So that's great. I really enjoyed it. What's your number 1?
Yeah, because we already did your number 1.
My number 1 was Can You Ever Forgive Me? What's your number 1?
My number 1 is Hereditary.
Well, someone likes spooky films.
I do. Okay, so first of all, I love horror movies. I absolutely adore horror movies. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know if it's the thrill of it. I don't know if it's the fact that there's so many like great subtext about the other that comes a lot with horror films. But Hereditary scared the fucking daylights out of me. And it wasn't even the fact that it's a traditional scary movie with jump scares or, you know, even though there are ghosts in that movie, it has nothing to do with the ghosts.
No.
What scared me is the fact that there were like real life fucked up situations that happened in that movie that just made my blood curdle. Like the death of a family member.
Yeah.
The resentment everyone has towards each other because they all blame each other for that person's death. The fact that you still feel someone's presence in your own house, and it's not even the sense that it's a ghost, it's just like their being is still there. I don't know. It was just such a great film. Toni Collette, I think it was her best performance I've ever seen of her. Yeah. And on top of that, it's a fucking terrifying film.
It's very terrifying. If you're not into scary movies whatsoever, please don't go see it because you will be crying. It's very good though.
I walked out of that theater feeling like I had like a 2-hour-long anxiety attack. It was that good.
I walked out having to go to the bathroom, but that's for different reasons. So did you have any alternates?
My alternate was Love, Simon.
Love, Simon? Okay, I had 2 alternates.
What was your alternate?
My 2 alternates were Black Panther. Because,
which is weird that it came out in 2018. It
I know,
like a year ago.
But it was like the beginning of, in February. So I think Black Panther, need I say more, I don't like superhero films, and it was the best superhero film I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And my second was Won't You Be My Neighbor, the movie about Mr. Rogers. It's a great documentary, and it makes you feel good, and it gives you faith in humanity.
Yes, it really does.
I cried.
And I didn't even grow up watching Mr. Rogers, and I watched that documentary. It was just like, holy shit, he's an angel.
Were you just, not... young enough to or old enough to watch him?
For some reason PBS was just never a channel I watched.
Because you had cable. I did not. I did not grow up with cable, so
He tells the story any opportunity he can. I grew up not having cable.
I grew up
and that's why I have problems trusting people.
Let me tell you, I can't get into serious relationships because I didn't have Nickelodeon or Disney Channel growing up. When people say life size, I'm like, is that a size at McDonald's?
Oh my God, shut up.
No, I loved Mr. Rogers. I watched him growing up because I didn't have cable. And it's nice to see someone who is genuinely a great person.
Yes. All right, so now that we got our top 10 movies out of the way, let's go on to music.
Favorite music. And now I've included music that is either a full album, a song, a music video, or just like a performer that I think that we should watch out to.
That's what I did too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, since you started movies, I'll start my number 5.
Okay.
So my number 5. Actually, you start number 5.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'll start number 5.
Just go.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's Janelle Monáe, Dirty Computer.
Okay.
Is she on your list? Okay, so drink to that. So, why do we love Janelle Monáe? 1, comes out as pansexual. I'm instantly like, one of us. Her music is bopping. I love it.
She's always been a great artist.
Always been a great artist. And I think that she's really come into her own as a Black queer woman. The song Pink, which I think is pretty popular, but it's an ode to vaginas.
Yeah.
Hello, I love it. What's your favorite song from Dirty Computer?
Mine, it's between Pink and Make Me Feel, which is a very stunning bisexual ode to Prince.
It is. No, it's great.
Yeah. Dirty Computer, actually, I'm going to reveal it's my number 1 of the year.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Dirty Computer was phenomenal
to me so
because
good.
It is a beautiful ode to pansexual... Or she's pansexual,
She's
correct?
pansexual.
Yeah. Pansexual Black queerness, and it's done in this beautifully wrapped musical bow, and it comes with a visual album on top of it. So it's literally everything that I love. Music video on top of music video that were all stunning to watch. Music that highlights stuff that don't really get to talk about. On top of that, Janelle Monáe's voice
is so beautiful. And it was just nominated for a Grammy. So
for Album of the Year.
Yeah, I hope she gets it.
Yeah.
All right, so that was my number 5. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is actually from Queer Ally Lizzo, her track Boys.
That was my alternate, so we won't drink to that because I've been drinking.
Yeah.
But I love Lizzo.
I mean, she won me over by that simple line where she's just like, from the fly boys to the gay boys, go and slay boys, you my fave boys.
She's amazing.
It's a very sex-positive, fun track from a heavier set Black woman.
She's a plus-size woman who owns her beautiful curves. Same.
Right. And she's very inviting to, anybody who may not fit the norm. Be like, come kiki with me.
Well, you know what she said once? They were talking to her, and she was like, okay, she's like, gay people support me, so why wouldn't I support them?
Right.
She's like, I'm a plus-size Black woman. I have a lot of things set against me in this world, why would I not support everyone?
Right.
So I'm like, yes, Lizzo. I love her. One of my favorite songs, it didn't come out in 2018, so I didn't include it, but one of my favorite songs that she has is Worship Me. It's so good. I love it. It's just kind of like, I'm a big, beautiful woman. You will worship me. And I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lizzo's amazing. So I'm glad that she was on your list because she was an alternate for me.
There you go.
So, my number 4 is my queen, Robin, Missing You.
Okay. She's not on my list.
I didn't think she would be. I love Swedish pop dance queen Robin since forever. And I have been missing her. So when she came out with that song, it's not necessarily like anything revolutionary, but I think Robin has been a soundtrack for a lot of queer people throughout the past years. One of my favorite songs is Dancing on My Own, even though I don't feel as sad when I listen to it now. But it's like, she was there for me when I was like really, really sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when she comes out with like, I've Been Missing You, I'm like, I've been missing you too, Robin. So it's a great bop. Listen to it. She's my number 4.
She kind of fits the formula of like standard gay pop music.
Yeah, it's great. I love
something
it.
you can dance to. It's kind of sad.
Kind of sad. Sad poppy dance music is total like gay realness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
total, especially I feel like white gay realness.
Yeah.
We won't get into that, but anyway.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Josh is like, you're a basic white gay, and I'm just like, I'm fat. No, I don't know what to say.
I'm just kidding. So my number 4 was actually the Carters album, Everything Is Love.
That was on my alternate.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was on my alternate, but more specifically, the Ape Shit music video.
Yeah. So basically, everyone knows that Beyonce and Jay-Z are like the reigning king and queen of the music industry. And
Beyonce is the king and Jay-Z is the queen.
Exactly.
In this instance.
Yeah. And so Everything Is Love is basically a celebration of their black love and everything that they celebrate with their livelihood. And the fact that, especially if you watch the Ape Shit video, so they shut down the Louvre and they recorded the music video in there. The Louvre is obviously famous for featuring paintings of white colonialism, and throughout the entire...
Very classical white art. Yes.
And throughout the music video, they create high art on their own by having their dancers stand in front of the Mona Lisa.
That they, as black people, are also art.
Exactly.
Do you remember when I watched that? I was at your... Oh, I was here at your house, and you came back, and I had tears in my eyes.
Yeah, it's a great celebration of black resilience, black love, black power. And even though obviously neither one of us are black, I think it's obviously just a great testament of where we're standing at in 2018 of don't fuck with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I think too, like, it's... I mean, being a white person, like, we were watching that video the other day with Bob the Drag Queen, and it's like, I benefit from white supremacy and racism in my everyday life. Like, it doesn't matter that I'm, like, queer, flamboyant, and gay, like, gay and fat. I'm still white, and, like, male passing and everything. So it's like, I want to find people who have amazing voices and uphold these values that I think are amazing, and just be like, yeah, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they get it.
Yeah.
Not that they ever wouldn't get it.
Yeah. No, I totally
understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to say this without sounding like an annoying...
Like a mansplainer?
Yeah. Like, I don't know how to say it. But anyways, do we even need to say that Beyonce and Jay-Z...
No, exactly.
Like, right.
Like, they're just the reigning king queen. They had a great album that was slightly underrated in 2018.
I agree.
Yeah. And so they sit very firmly at my number 4.
Good. I like it.
Yeah. What's your number 3?
My number 3, I'm going to move some of mine around when I wrote them out. But my number 3 is Troye Sivan, more specifically, the Bloom music video.
You know what's weird?
What?
That's my number 3.
Shut up! Shut up! Oh my god, cheers! Okay.
Troye Sivan creates a huge bop about bottoming.
But he will not explicitly say that it's about bottoming because he's like a little embarrassed because it is about sex and his parents read the interviews.
Whatever.
But he's young. He's like in his early 20s.
I know.
Like, anyways, the song is great. You know,
the album is pretty solid too.
The album is solid,
but the music video is actually pretty great because it it shows Troy embracing his queerness
and femininity
in such an apologetically beautiful way.
Unapologetically.
Right, exactly. You see him in this beautiful rose gown that I was gagged over.
I love like the feather boa and the makeup he's wearing, and it feels like it's like modern Boy George.
Exactly. And I feel like the song itself is actually something that anyone can really like listen to and just kind of like jam along
totally.
To.
Like
it's still a very mainstream pop song.
But what I love is like it's like he did it for the gays. So that's my number 3.
That's my number 3 too. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is going to be Kim Petras as a performer. What, is that your number 2 also?
No, I totally forgot about her. Oh my god.
Okay, a moment of silence for your forgetfulness.
Oh my god.
Over. So Kim Petras, if you don't know, is this wonderful German trans pop star who has just taken 2018 over by like that. She has toured with Troy. Her music is total bops. She has a great voice, and what I love. Okay, so here are some of my favorite things that she has done. Yes. So the song "Heart to Break" is really good. I remember listening to "Heart to Break" and then my heart actually got broken.
Yeah, it was a very timely song for you.
Timely. But you know what? I still love it though.
Oh, it's a great bop.
But and honestly, it's good because it's like every single episode I sing off key, and I will try not. I will try not to do it this time. But like the lyrics of like. She doesn't even care if her heart's going to get back together. She's going to give her heart to break. And I feel like that's a good reminder that, like, as queer people, it's okay to fall in love and it's okay to, like, have your heart broken because at least you feel something. Did that get too deep, or is that just, like, surface level and it feels deep because I've had a lot of champagne?
A little bit of both, actually.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Another thing I loved from her is her H&M Pride collab. I thought that was great because
she did that with Aja.
And Gus Kentworthy. Yeah, great. Hello, Gus. I like to think that Gus Kentworthy listens to us, but he is like a closet listener.
Oh, sure.
You think that he listens to us?
No, I don't think he does at all.
He should. We're big fans of you, Mr. Gus Kentworthy.
Yeah.
And your boyfriend's really cute too, whatever, but we'll be here.
We will
when that doesn't work out. Anyway, side note. So, Kim Petras, I love the H&M collab to put a trans person as part of your collaboration and fashion mainstream platform is great. Even though it kind of capitalizes on like Pride as a whole, like, give us a break. I can't get into the politics right now. We're talking about good things.
Right. Exactly.
And my other favorite thing that she has done is her Halloween-themed album.
Yeah, that was
my
solid.
Gosh. The song Close Your Eyes.
Well, this also just proves that gays take over Halloween.
Okay, cheers to that. Yes.
It's our holiday.
Yeah, I loved it. So Kim Petras, my number 2. Yes. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is actually Ariana Grande. Like, just her whole year in review. Yeah. I think Ariana Grande is a great queer ally. She has a half-brother named Frankie who is gay. And I feel like she has become our reigning pop diva.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a straight ally when it comes to pop music in current mainstream media, Ariana Grande is a great unproblematic fave.
Yeah.
Unproblematic fave.
Right.
What does she do? Lick a donut?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no,
she
she's great.
hates America. Sometimes I do too.
Well, sometimes hello.
Right. No, but she came out this year with her album Sweetener, and it was mostly dedicated to the victims of the Manchester attack in London last year.
So using her voice for good.
Right, using her voice for good. She also had a very public breakup with Pete Davidson, and also, unfortunately, Mac Miller passed away this year.
A lot of things happened to this woman, and she still is making music.
And she's still making music. She is very introspective and very mature for her age.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Ariana Grande that makes her so,
I stan.
Yeah. But
I think it's because she is so supportive and unapologetic about her support, and it doesn't feel like she's coming off as I know that the gays love me.
Right.
She does it because she knows that it's right.
And she's more self-aware than what people give her credit for.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish that would not happen so much is the high pony. Mostly because I feel like she's going to become, like, bald because of the tension that's pulling her hair. And, I mean, I will still stand a bald Ariana Grande.
But her face is going to be snatched for the gods.
Oh my God.
It's, like,
Maybe
I
should start pulling my hair back. I love Ariana. She wasn't on my list, but I still love her. All right, thank you. Next.
Yeah, thank you. Next. Exactly.
Do you want my number one?
Yeah, because my number one was Janelle. So what's yours?
My number one is Years and Years, their album Palo Santo.
Mm-hmm.
You know I have been playing that constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I bug Josh. I'm like, listen to Palo Santo. First of all, I love Ali Alexander. I think he is the most precious, jacked up teeth British person I have ever seen. I'm obsessed.
He is a great artist. He's like a grittier Troye Sivan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this album is so beautiful because it deals with mental health, it deals with sexuality, it deals with his issues with his dad, it deals with, like, sex, gay sex, and what I adore him. He is so sweet, and I think that he is using his platform for good. If you haven't listened to Palo Santo, please listen to it.
Yeah.
Or watch the music videos. They're really stimulating.
All this is available on iTunes.
It is, because I bought that album. Because I still buy albums in 2018. Okay. Happy 2018.
Woo!
Okay, woo! So did you have any other alternates?
My alternate was actually Hayley Kiyoko.
Oh, Lesbian Jesus.
Jesus.
She's great.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Just as an artist in full. I don't really listen to her music, per se.
But as an artist entity.
As an artist, as an advocate, as someone who stands 2018 like we do.
Yes.
Hey, honey. We will kiki.
Yeah, no, living for it. So I had two alternates. I had Carly Rae Jepsen, Party for One, a great bop about a breakup.
Yes.
And my other was Cher's ABBA cover album.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Two gay icons.
I love ABBA. I love Cher. I'm seeing her in February. So those were my alternates.
Put them together.
And you have magic. So the next category is queer media moments. What's your number 5?
So my number 5 actually features someone we have mentioned before, Gus Kensworthy and Adam Rippon.
Okay.
Being in the 2018 Winter Olympics.
Very good. That was my alternate.
Really?
Yeah, it was great to see a representative of, like, athletes who are also gay. Yeah, no, that was great.
I think that it was one of the first times that we've had exposure to gay men in such... Because, you know, like, in the U.S. specifically, sports are, like, the mecca for straight people in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And then with the Olympics, it's, like, even higher. So to have 2 gay men be part of it and also be celebrated and loved.
Oh my god, like, Adam Rippon, he
went on to Dancing with the Stars. He's on, what, Good Morning America?
Good Morning America, but he quit professional ice skating. Because I think he sees his career and the things that he has to say as so much bigger. When he went after Mike Pence, I was living, honey. Like, I was so happy for it.
Right.
And also, Gus Kentworthy, as you know, we're big fans of you, Gus Kentworthy.
Yes, we are.
But he shared a cute kiss on screen with his boyfriend, which inadvertently is so, like, queer, like, in your face, but, like, for us, it's just natural.
Right, exactly.
That's
it's
great.
just like, yeah. So them being part of the U.S. Olympics, I think, was a great media moment for 2018.
Queer media moment.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. My number 5 is Queer Eye, the reboot.
That's my number 2. So
I love Queer Eye so much. I love that it is... It's like the perfect place to be in the politics and social area of America.
It's weird. It makes me feel so safe when I watch that show.
I know. It's a feel-good show, but it still has a lot to stand for. I think what's great is Jonathan Van Ness.
Oh, by far the best.
Honestly, I want to hang out with him. He's so politically minded. He's so aware. Anthony is one sexy babe, and I would totally eat guacamole off of his pecs.
I prefer Tan.
Oh, Tan. His hair is so big and full of secrets.
I know. I love Tan. He's so
and then Karomo. Oh, my God.
Oh, Dad.
Oh, yeah, he is. He will sit you down and be like, so why do you suck at life?
Why do you hate yourself?
Why do you hate yourself?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Karomo, don't.
I don't know.
And then Bobby, we don't see a lot of Bobby because he's completely making your house beautiful and not getting the credit he deserves. So
No.
I put Queer Eye as my number 5. Okay, so what's your number 4?
My number 4 is the debut of the FX series of Ryan Murphy's Pose.
Oh. Pose! Bitch! Okay. Okay. That was my number one. So
Really?
cheers.
Okay,
yeah, that
cheers.
was my number one. Pose was my number one.
Okay, so Pose is a beautiful tribute to the 1980s New York ball scene. For those of you who don't know, watch the documentary Paris is Burning, came out in 1990. So the ball scene in the 1980s was all about performance and drag, and specifically for people of color, especially the Black community or the transgender community, because even they were rejected by the gay community at the time. And Pose highlights that beautifully throughout the entire series. Like, you see this transgender woman go into a gay bar and she gets kicked out.
Yeah.
You see the fact that there is this weird underline of fetishization of transgenderness.
Yeah.
With multiple characters throughout the series.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And it's not treated as a stereotype, and it's not treated as like, okay, this is like transgender 411. It just is.
Right. It's a beautiful show. I'm not a big fan of Ryan Murphy myself, but the show is pretty phenomenal.
I would say specifically the shows and the episodes rather that Janet Mock is writing or directing. She was the first transgender writer, advocate, producer, just person to direct, produce, and write an episode for television. And that's the best episode of Pose. It's so good. Please watch Pose.
Yeah, it's a great.
I bought it on Amazon.
Yeah,
like
and it's worth every
penny.
penny.
Yeah, if you have Amazon Prime, buy it.
And
like,
it was
it's like
renewed
$20.
for season 2.
It was renewed for season 2. Every episode is really stellar, and it touches on transgender, racism, the AIDS epidemic of the 80s. It is a phenomenal show. So I'm glad that is your. What's that number for you?
That was number 4 for me, and that
Number
was your
4.
number 1?
That was my number 1.
Okay,
I felt like it's revolutionary.
Yes.
My number 4 for queer media moments is Peppermint, the drag queen and trans woman from RuPaul's Drag Race, being the first openly trans person to originate a role on Broadway in the musical Head Over Heels.
Okay, can I piggyback off that?
Please do.
Because my number 3 is Drag Race alumni finding success outside the show. Okay,
Cheers. Okay, great.
Okay, we literally have no champagne left because we've been chugging it the entire time.
Good minds think alike.
Okay,
And better minds drink a lot.
Yeah. So you brought up Peppermint, how she starred on Head Over Heels on Broadway.
And she is an openly trans woman, and she originated a role. And while Head Over Heels is now going to end in January, which is sad, what an accomplishment.
I have Shangela and Willem showing up in A Star Is Born.
Very good. Yes.
I have,
the best part of A Star Is Born.
Right, exactly. I have Alyssa Edwards having her own Netflix show, Dancing Queen.
I loved it.
And I have the Queens of RuPaul starring in Super Drag. Is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah, Super Drags.
Yeah.
And I even think there's other drag queens starring, I think Ginger Minj, or someone's in the new movie Dumplin'.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what that's about?
Yeah, the Jennifer Aniston film.
Yeah, with Dolly Parton and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, we're just really happy to see that our queens have found success outside of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Whether that's being in different movies and television or having albums. Like Aja, like putting out an album and killing it.
Well, the funny thing is, too, is that, like, a lot of reality TV show contestants, especially straight show contestants, like, they'll have their 15 minutes and then they'll fade into obscurity. But our girls somehow am able to break into the mainstream media.
That's just queer excellence and straight mediocrity, honey.
That's true. That's very true.
What's your number 3?
That was my number 3.
Oh.
And
What's your number 4?
My number 4 was Pose.
Oh.
And number 2 was Queer Eye.
Oh. Well, my number 3 is the comedy special on Netflix, Nanette by Hannah Gatsby.
I love Hannah Gatsby.
Have you watched it?
Yes, my sister and I watched it.
Oh, isn't it good?
It's so funny.
It's so funny. It's so relevant, and she talks about.
She's the comedian with the really dry humor, right?
She has like the glasses.
Yeah,
she's like Australian. Yeah, so she's a lesbian who.
Oh, her special was so funny.
I thought you were laughing at me, and I was like, all I said was that she was a lesbian.
No.
And I was like, I wanted to be like the Hillary Duff, like, saying gay isn't funny. No, but her special is so funny, and what I really love about it is it was the first time that I ever heard someone say, like, you know, I use myself as the punchline. but that is so damaging to who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And I think that resonated with me because I am so used to using myself as a punchline before anyone else can make fun of me.
Yeah.
And it's just like a thing that we, I think, develop as queer people or as people who are marginalized. So watching that, I was like...
We very easily self-deprecate.
Yeah.
As a defense mechanism.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But it just hurts us.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to be like, don't do that. Like, we're better than that. I was like, oh, I love this. Okay, so then that, I lived. I lived for it. So that was my number 3. What was your number 2?
Queer Eye. I told you that.
Oh, honey.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is... It's from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay.
It's Miss Vanjie.
Yes!
Miss Vanjie.
That's my alternate.
Is it?
Yeah.
I live. Okay, so the reason I chose Miss Vanjie, not just as a queen, not as from RuPaul's Drag Race, but because that shit blew up the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You had so many straight people on Twitter being like, what's a Miss Vanjie?
Right.
Do I buy it? Like, for something that was so queer and so, like, gay relevant.
And it was, like, literally just 3 seconds of a soundbite of her being like, Miss Vanjie.
It just, like, pushed forward into the mainstream, and I live for it. I loved it. I loved it so fucking much.
It's so good.
So,
I think if I could wrap up 2018 in a soundbite,
it would be
Miss Vanjie.
Miss Vanjie,
Mm-hmm.
get these cookies.
So, my number 1 was actually from the dancer from So You Think You Can Dance, Mark Kanamura, who also starred on RuPaul's Drag Race as a backup dancer.
Okay.
His Cut to the Feeling music video.
Oh my god. Alright.
That was my number 1.
That was your number 1?
Only because it came out during Pride Month.
Because you're horny? Because he's cute and you're horny. And he has a lot of reveals. Okay.
It also became a huge meme. Especially
Did it?
especially during Pride Month. He doesn't know. He doesn't have internet.
I don't...
He doesn't have cable.
I grew up without cable.
Yeah, that video seriously spread everywhere. Everyone who I knew about that video, watched that video, celebrated that video during Pride Month. If you haven't seen it, just type in Cut to the Feeling video. It's seriously...
Yeah, that's specific enough.
Shut the fuck up. Seriously, the best reveals I've ever seen. Anyone on Drag Race could wish they could do something like that.
Sasha Velour, if you're listening, his name is Josh Bonney. He doesn't believe that you are good at reveals.
I'm just saying. It was my number 1 gay moment of 2018. Because that gave me... Oh, my skin was clear, my debts were paid off, my waters were cropped.
But it's been 6 months since then, so everything's back.
Yeah.
So, okay, to reprise, should we do, like...
Reprise?
Reprise? I thought it was reprise.
Oh, man. Vocabulary sure hit a hard hit tonight.
Honey, I wasn't growing up with a lot of, schooling.
I had a hard school.
I had a hard school life.
Okay, so my number 5 was the Gay Olympics, 4 was Pose, 3 was Drag Race, 2 was Queer Eye, number 1 was Cut to the Feeling.
And mine was 5 was Queer Eye, 4 was Peppermint, 3 Nanette, 2 Miss Vanjie, and 1 was Pose. Okay, I live. I think we had a lot of overlapping.
Yeah.
And that made me happy.
So now we're going to get to the tough part.
Okay.
Is the political movement.
I need more wine. So I'm going to... We'll edit this out, but I need more wine.
Oh my god. Alright. And Kyle literally just got up and left to get more wine. Kyle!
Okay, I'm here. Sorry. We're talking politics. I need more wine. So I just switched over to our first episode when we were drinking Ano Vera Rosé. Honoro mention. So cheers.
Drunk.
I'm not drunk. I'm just happy. And also we're talking about politics and I need more to drink.
Fine. Okay.
So what's your number 5 for politics?
So mine is actually something that isn't necessarily positive, but I think it does open up a good discussion.
Okay.
Is that Kevin Hart stepped down as the Oscars host after he was basically ripped to shreds by the internet for all the past homophobic tweets that he used.
Yeah, what kills me is his... that wasn't on my list because I don't like to think about him, and he's a negative That's like a negative thing.
Yeah.
First of all, Kevin Hart, not that funny.
No. His shtick is so outdated.
When he said, like, oh, if I had a gay son, I'd be so upset. Or he said some bullshit like that.
Right.
I'm like, really?
And he was very liberal with the use of the word fag, queer, like...
Like, if you're gonna say fag, like, you better be my good Judy. And if you're not my good Judy, like... Get the fuck out, Kevin Hart.
See, here's the thing.
That doesn't go... I'm sorry. That does not go just for Kevin Hart.
No.
It goes for, like, a lot of people. Like, if you're not my good Judy and you're using the word fag, it's...
Well, here's the thing.
Cool.
He was incredibly unapologetic towards it because he's like, I already apologized for this before, and
I left the tweets up, so you know that I'm homophobic.
And I want to move on, and we live in a day and age where the internet will just want to tear you down and things like that, and there's a lot of people who actually tried to support him for that. The weird, ironic thing about that is what if the tables were turned, and there was a white comedian saying the N-word?
They'd be canceled too.
Exactly.
As they should be.
I think that it was a great stance of accountability. I think that him having to step down, I think is a stance that, no, it is not acceptable.
No.
You aren't going to get away with this. I don't care if it is in the past. I understand that you might have grown as a person, but that doesn't mean that anything that you haven't said before isn't going to make you responsible for doing it later.
And also, your non-apology isn't helping. So if Kevin Hart apologized, and he was just like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm deleting those tweets, I don't believe those things, I'm not homophobic, I would have been like, you know what, I don't really like your comedy anyways, but, like, at least you apologized.
I mean, I never really liked Kevin Hart to begin with, so...
No,
like,
okay,
so that was my number 5.
Alright. So that's your number 5, politics / like, social movement. My number 5 of 2018 for that is an individual, but also a larger picture of Sharice Davids, a gay and Native American woman who was elected to the House of Representatives in Kansas in this past election.
That was my number 2.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
God damn, drink to that. So I just think that, first of all, she's super cool. Mm-hmm. Like, that just makes me happy. But as like a larger note, there were so many people elected in November that will represent us in a positive manner that are part of, like, marginalized communities, whether they're part of the LGBTQ community, whether they're people of color, whether they are, women. Mm-hmm. That's huge. So, just really positive things coming from that. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Emma Gonzalez fighting against the NRA.
Okay. That's kind of my number 1.
Really?
My number 1 was teens organizing nationwide for the March for Our Lives and gun control. Mm-hmm. So, cheers.
Cheers.
I think it's a huge thing to be so against gun control and the NRA and be so young and use your voice for good.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I chose Emma Gonzalez in particular is because she was a survivor of the Florida shooting.
Yes.
And she identifies as bisexual, I think.
Yeah.
Or
she's a queer.
Yeah, she's a queer person. And she was featured recently on the Out 100. Mm-hmm. So basically, I just chose her simply because I felt like, in general, a lot of times I feel like with the generation before us, we always got the flack of like, oh, millennials are ruining everything. Like, we are the downfall.
I hear that all the time.
And the generation after us, oh my god, the people who are like...
The fire that's beneath them is amazing. And I'm like, just go, children.
Right, I'm just like...
Go!
Yeah, the
I'm
children
so proud
beneath
of them.
us,
I'm
just
so
like,
proud.
they are going to take care of us in the future. For sure.
They will. I'll vote them into... I would vote for Emma.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, it just kind of goes back to like the new sweep of the progressive era that we are starting into. And how... we need to highlight the people who are going to fight this. We need to make sure that they are going to be represented well. Yeah. And if we can, try to vote them into office.
Vote them into office, yes. No, I think the younger generation is a great example of a movement that I am totally willing to vote and support.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it makes my little queer heart happy.
So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is kind of Chicago specific, but I think that it also could go for a larger thing, and it's justice for Laquan McDonald against Jason Van Dyke. If you're not familiar with the story, because it feels a little bit like shouting into a cave when we talk about it, but if you are outside of the Chicago area and you don't know the story, so Laquan McDonald was a 17-year-old teenager who was shot 16 times?
Yep.
16 times by Jason Van Dyke, a police officer. This has been very close to my heart, living in the city of Chicago. The Chicago Police Department is very militarized. I can't speak for other police departments across the country, but the Chicago Police Department is very militarized and directly targets Black and brown communities. So when they shot 16 rounds into this kid, did you watch the video, Josh?
Yeah, it was insane to watch.
The hardest thing to watch.
Yeah.
And that being said, like, Rahm Emanuel, who
was the mayor.
Hey, Rahm, he is the mayor, and hey, Rahm, thank you for stepping down and not running again for election, because you're dirty, dirty politician who wants to continue to enforce your dirty politics onto the city of Chicago. And you know what? This fucking queer's over it. Okay, anyways, so the fact that Jason Van Dyke was found guilty, and each time he shot a round into Laquan McDonald, he was found guilty. He's never going to be out of prison, and I do not want to see any of his sad, straight, white fucking tears. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. You knew fucking better. And you know what? Even if you didn't know fucking better, you're a fucking racist, and you should be behind bars. This is the new world, 2018. We're coming for you. So that's my number 3. Happy thoughts, honey.
Sure. My number 3 is actually based off of the decision that transgender identity is no longer listed as a mental disorder.
My wig is snatched.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So the World Health Organization is going to stop classifying transgender people as mentally ill. And that was
That's huge.
That was decided in June, Pride Month, actually.
Why didn't I hear about this?
I think you're probably too busy twerking against that wall in Boys Town.
Oh, honey. If I was twerking against the wall, you know I'd be sitting down on a chair.
That's true.
No, honestly, like, June is so busy for me because, you know, when you're gay, everyone expects you to have fun in Pride Month, and you're just like, I gotta pay my bills. So I'm usually working.
Yeah, fair. But
that's huge. That is amazing.
Exactly, especially for transgender rights specifically.
Long overdue.
Exactly. That was my number 3. My number 2 was the U.S. election.
Like, as in, like...
Like the U.S. election wave of blue.
Look at my phone. That's my number 2. Well, it's...
The most women in history were elected in a political office. Okay.
So, same, right? Cheers.
Cheers. All right. So now, what's your number 1 political movement in 2018?
That was the teens organizing nationwide for March for Our Lives and gun control. So it's just this beautiful movement of, like, young people connecting to each other and trying to make a change.
Right. My number 1 was actually a worldwide change.
Okay, what was it?
When India decriminalized being LGBTQ in November this past month.
Especially that was my number 4. It was gay sex was criminalized in India, and India now decriminalized it. Which, okay, so this is a very interesting topic because it not only it doesn't necessarily affect us at home, but at the same time, India was a colonialized nation by the British.
Right.
Before that, India is actually very accepting of, like, queer and trans people, and when it became colonized, a lot of that went out the window. So it's long overdue, but what an amazing statement that it now is decriminalized.
It's like what, the second most populated country in the world?
Yeah, it's huge.
So the fact that all of those people are affected in India, I think that is a huge statement. I also think it's a huge statement that even though in the U.S. we've made progress in LGBTQ rights, there's still a lot of places in the world that hasn't yet. And India being one of the main ones that has started that movement, I think that is pretty phenomenal in itself. Yeah.
Good for India.
So, okay, so we got through our top 10 political moments of the year as well.
Okay.
Now it's time for the last round.
Top 10. Tens across the board. Husbands of the year.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't remember who started that because I finished my champagne. Would you like to go first for who's your number 5?
Sure.
All right, who's your number 5 husband?
So we already talked about him with the Cut to the Feeling music video, but Mark Kanamura, the dancer from So You Think You Can Dance and RuPaul's Drag Race. If you ever need to look him up, just look him up on his Instagram. Such a stunning man.
He's a cutie patootie.
He really is.
I agree. He's a cutie patootie.
So hot.
Well, Josh is about to go take a cold shower.
Oh my god.
Just kidding. I'm about to. Because
What's
guess who's my number 5?
What?
I've mentioned him multiple times in this podcast. Gus Kentworthy.
He almost made my list.
I don't know what to say about Gus Kentworthy except for he is a precious being with great tattoos, an amazing body, a cute little scruffy face, and uses his voice for good.
He's like the definitive, like, top.
Oh, he's part of our top 5. He's the top of the top.
I don't even know if he tops.
He is like top energy.
Yeah. Big dick energy.
Which, like, shout out to our friend Ryan. It's 2018. If you're not versed, you're homophobic.
That's true.
Okay, so who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead. And
cutie.
Yeah, he just recently starred in a South Korean film called Burning. Steven Yeun's always been such this handsome gentleman to mine. I think it showed a lot of his acting capabilities, the fact that he could go from The Walking Dead, which is sort of like a staple TV show, and break past that and also star in a lot of great films. He also starred in Sorry to Bother You this year. So just the fact that he has success outside of a TV show just shows that he has incredible star power. And as an Asian man, double kudos for him.
Yeah, he's super cute. What's the movie that he's starring in?
Burning.
Which is actually, Burning is not about why I go to the clinic.
You're waiting for that one.
I was calculating it in my head. Huh?
Yeah.
So my number 4 is Donald Glover.
Oh my god.
I love him. This is America. This is my husband. Donald Glover has been on my husband list for quite a number of years. When he came out with This is America, which is, it talks about race, it talks about gun violence, it's amazing. Good for you, Donald Glover. And especially when I saw you in Solo with that little mustache as Lando Calrissian. Call me. Slide into those DMs. Yeah, Donald Glover. Cutie patootie. Number 4. Who's your number 3?
My number 3 was Angel Curiel from Pose. Lil Poppy.
He would be. He would be.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I just have a few things that just tick boxes for me, which is 1, a man of color. Anyone who just is a man of color just automatically ticks my box.
Ticks his box, tickles his fancy.
He had a great smile. He had this cute accent.
Oh, his smile is really cute.
Yeah. And he was this beautiful, dumb little boy who wanted to do well, and he's just so cute.
So Josh likes him dumb and cute.
Dumb, cute, and great smile.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's all you really need to, like, tickle my fancy.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Hello, man.
Yes.
So my number 3 is Rami Malek. My frog prince.
He was one of my alternates.
Was he really? Get out of here.
Yeah, he's very handsome.
Get out of here. I love Rami Malek. I think he's super handsome. While Bohemian Rhapsody it's okay. Like, it's an enjoyable film, but it's not, like, the end-all, be-all film.
Oh my god, straight people love it, though.
They do. Rami Malek is such a babe. Oh my god. That mustache? Playing Freddie Mercury?
Even those jacked up teeth, like, somehow made him hot.
Well, okay, I love jacked up teeth.
Of course you do.
I'm very into jacked up teeth.
Yeah.
I think, I love it. Like, give me a gap tooth and maybe even a missing canine, and I'm very much into it.
Canine?
Like a canine tooth. What? What?
Nothing.
You don't think that's sexy?
No.
I don't know. I'm kind of
missing
into
teeth.
it. Well, I'm like, ooh, we can have soup together.
Ew.
What's wrong with soup? What's wrong with soup? No, really, what's wrong with soup?
What, a missing tooth? Get out of here.
Oh, but he's not missing teeth, Rami Malek. Hi! You're not missing teeth that I know of. But what a cute little bug-eyed man.
I guess. I mean, he is adorable, but, like, for the reasons why, I don't think you have it right.
He's not missing teeth, but I'm saying if he was, I'd still love him.
Yeah, that's
okay.
True. Fine. Alright, so that was your number 3. My number 2 is, to quote myself, actually, do you ever have feelings for your own dad? John Cho. 1, it's someone who I looked up on screen, I'm just like, oh my god, an attractive Asian male. 2, this sounds weird, but like I feel like I look like him sometimes. I find that very weirdly attractive in a lot of ways, if that makes sense. Like someone you look up to and they're on screen, you're just like, oh, I can identify with them.
God, this goes back to I love that this is our like top 10.
Yeah.
And also like kind of looking back on what we've talked about in this podcast.
Right. It's a year
on being
review.
like represented.
Yeah.
And
he's
you felt represented. You brought him up in the representation episode.
And he's old enough to be my dad, and I would love if John Cho was my father. Oh, he's just so great. So, John Cho, he starred in the movie Searching this year, which we went to go see in August, which was
and we talked about that too. Sorry, I'm getting over the fact that you're attracted to your father.
I know, but he's just so handsome.
Oh god, this is another podcast.
That's our psychology podcast that we will talk about soon.
I think we need to bring a guest on.
A professional help.
No, he is handsome.
Yeah.
And a great actor.
Yeah. I mean, he has been around since, the 90s?
I don't know.
Yeah, and he still is making great work. Like, he's great. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
What's your number 2?
That'd be your husband. My number 2 is the trans model and musician, Laith Ashley. Mr. Laith Ashley. Mr. Laith Ashley.
You know, the amount of times you repeat his name doesn't mean that he's actually going to come for you.
I know. But you know what? Laith Ashley is so handsome.
He is.
He has the best lips.
Best lips.
His lips are so big.
His voice is so sexy.
Oh, I know.
Pecs.
You know I have a thing for pecs.
Mm-hmm.
Laith Ashley is also a great spokesperson and advocate for the trans community and the queer community as a whole. He had a little part on Pose.
He did.
I find him so sexy. I think that he would be a great husband.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That was your number 2.
That was my number 2 is Laith Ashley. What's your number 1?
So I'm kind of cheating a little.
You're cheating? On your husband?
It's a whole group of men.
Wait, a whole group?
Mm-hmm. It's the cast of Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh my god. You are a sister wife to them.
Oh my god. But literally every man in that film, oh my god, I just want to just jump on them.
If I played
Rachel.
Oh.
And I got fucked by Henry Golding.
Oh.
Ah.
But I don't think she really got fucked by him.
I
think that they're cast members. And they're professionals.
Will you shut up?
I'm just trying to say, like,
oh my god,
honey,
but like
he is so hot.
Every single golden ab, chiseled chest, beautiful smile.
If you ran a stick down their abs, it'd sound like a xylophone. It'd be like, doom, 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 doom.
Tell you, 2018 was a great year for representation, and those sexy motherfuckers. Any one of those, I would hit up in a heartbeat.
Even the cheating husband.
Even the cheating husband.
Spoiler alert. Even the cheating husband. I forget his name. When he walked out of the shower and he didn't have his shirt on, I remember grabbing your arm, and you were just like, I know. I was just like, I don't know this character. And you were like, he's bad. And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Very handsome.
So
so pretty. So beautiful.
Yeah. That was my number 1.
So my number 1 for husband is, from Years and Years, lead singer that we've already talked about, Ollie Alexander.
Okay.
I
So you do have a type.
What's my type?
Skinny boy who is kind of weird looking.
Oh! Oh! I want you to say that to everyone else on my list.
What?
Who else on my list is a skinny boy who is weird looking?
I'm talking about all your exes.
Oh! You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Any person that Kyle has dated is white, skinny, and kind of fucked up looking.
Can I say that until Josh met me, I was not dating white men.
Oh, that's true.
And then Josh met me and he put a curse on me and he was like, you're gonna date the basicest of white people.
Who either look like frogs or...
They do not look like frogs. They're my frog princes and I'm into it. What I love about Ali Alexander and why he is number one on my husband list is years and years puts out great music. And he also, this isn't 2018, but he did come out with a documentary for the BBC called Growing Up Gay, in which he tries to look at your mental health and how it collates to being a queer person.
Right.
And he, like, interviews people. And, I don't know, it just made me, like, really happy. And he's a cute person. And speaking of jacked up teeth, I want to, like, slide into that. I'm very into Ali Alexander. And that's why he's my number one husband.
Mm-hmm.
He's just great. He's a mental health advocate. He's queer. He put out a great album. The music video is great. You know, you see a few nipples in that.
Yeah. I think it just shows our taste in men. I have class and you don't.
Okay, Parent Trap 1998.
I'm just kidding.
Where are you at? Partying in Mykonos, bitch? I think that
did we cover everything?
We did every single one. So I think when it comes to the tops of the tops, honey. Tops topping tops is a 2019 movie.
Yeah. So we had a lot of overlap.
We did.
Yeah.
I think the big ones are going to be... What are our big ones, Josh?
The big ones for sure are Troye Sivan. Adam Rippon and Gus Kensworthy.
Yes. Pose. Crazy Rich Asians. The Favorite.
Mm-hmm. And those are the things that I think we would both recommend on any level to go see. So that was our year in review, basically.
Thank you for listening to us.
Yeah. Even though we're pretty much drunk right now.
I'm not drunk. I'm Kyle.
We finished a whole bottle of champagne between the two of us.
And I've had a glass of Ano Rovera Rosé.
Now available on iTunes.
Which is a full circle for us. And can I just say that, like, Fear the Queer was a project that started because I wanted to give a voice to I wanted to give myself a voice. I wanted to give a voice to my friends. And I wanted to spotlight things and ideas and topics that I thought were important. So if you've been listening to us every single episode, thank you.
Mm-hmm. We do really appreciate the support. Thank you for enduring the first 7 episodes with us.
We'll be back for season 2.
Yes. We will be back as soon as we can here. We want to try to get our thoughts and organize together for season 2. And we even asked you guys of what you want us to talk about. And we'll try to get that up as soon as we can.
Thank you for your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
All of your feedback is going to just replenish our gay urges.
Yeah, basically.
And make us go like, yeah, we should be talking about queer history. We should be talking about, ABCD. It's great.
Yeah, so if you can, please leave as much feedback as you can. Like on the SoundCloud website, on Apple Podcasts, DM us on Instagram if you'd like. Just anything that you'd like to just like either critique, comment, suggest to us. We're all ears.
Josh, where can you find us?
You can find us on Instagram. Our handle is Fear the Queer Podcast. We can also find us on Facebook at Fear the Queer Podcast. Our email is fearthequeerpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can follow our personalized Instagrams. I'm jbon91.
And I am Kyle, Parkr, Kyle Parker without the E.
Or you can find us on SoundCloud.
You can find us on SoundCloud.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for tuning into our last episode. We promise we'll be back for season 2.
Very soon.
And I'm Kyle.
I'm Josh.
And we're
Fear the Queer. Bye!